again, the big thing I think is them promoting a skill, not a lifestyle. Check their social media. I mean, not everybody's active on social media, but it's out there. So use it, see what they're posting about, see what's important to them, see what accomplishments have they done, and are those things what you're trying to achieve? Yeah, because I see a lot of stuff online too, right? Hey, I'll teach you to do X, Y, and Z. Come join my program. And this is how much it costs. But really, all they're doing is just taking information and passing it along. They haven't actually done the actual thing that they're trying to teach you. So it's making sure that that mentor is actively doing or has done what you're trying to achieve.
You're listening to the Guerrilla State Investing Podcast. We're not here to bruise your bananas with guru sales pitches, overrated fluff, or any other kind of monkey business. We simply provide the ground-pounding truth about what it takes to be successful in real estate.
All right, and we are live, and welcome back to another episode of Guerrilla State Investing Podcast. I am your host, Brandon Magierowski, and today I've got Brandon Rabe from Honolulu, Hawaii. Brandon is a high-performance coach, real estate investing mentor, and an active real estate investor. Welcome to the program, Brandon.
Hey, Brandon. Yeah, thanks for having me.
You got it, man. Well, I just spent the intro bragging about your camera setup and didn't really get to talk to you too deep about what we're going to get into today. But why don't you just give us a quick background, Brandon, of how you got to where you are today? I know one thing I did read in your bio was, and I'll just read it straight from it, like for over 15 years, you sat on the sidelines pursuing an average life of going to school, finding a great job, and starting a family. And once you had your firstborn kid, it really turned the light on for you to do something different. So why don't you just expand upon that?
Yeah. I mean, growing up here in Hawaii, real estate's always been a big thing, right? Always wanted to own a piece of paradise. So just having that mentality and wanting or knowing that real estate could be an avenue of wealth. I always really wanted to get into real estate. I just didn't know how. And as prices started to creep up in the early 2000s, I kind of got discouraged. So I was like, you know what? I don't think I can get into real estate. So I just put that on the side, decided to go to college. I got my degree, got a job, got a good job, started a family, just did the whole thing. And I don't know, there's something about having kids that really make you realize that there's more to life, right? And when our daughter turned 1, that's when things were like, okay, if I get sick or something happens to me or whatever it is, I need to provide for my family. So what does that look like? And my really good friend gave me that book, that purple book, right? Rich Dad, Poor Dad.
Yep.
I read that book and that just really lit that fire to look into real estate, look into passive income, and find another way to provide for my family if something were to happen to me. At first it was going to school and getting a degree. Like, okay, I need something to fall back on. But yeah, after a couple of years of that and then reading that book, I mean, that really changed my gears and maybe wanted to look into real estate.
So that book actually changed my gears as well, because I was on the same path as you were. I actually had a young kid and a partner of mine was investing in real estate. And I said, how you doing it? Like, I love real estate. I've made some money selling my own home, but I've never understood how to invest. And the first book he gave me was Robert Kiyosaki's, I'm probably not even saying that right. You know who he is, Rich Dad, Poor Dad. And it just flipped the light switch on for me that, do I want to live the middle-class life for the next 50 years and turn little money over to my family, little wealth over to my family, or do I want to build something greater? And maybe, like you said, what is it? Change a trajectory of the family financial tree. What an important line that is in your bio, because if we don't do something now with our generation, and create more wealth for our kids, they're going to be left in the same situation we were. And that's not what our parents want, right? You always want to provide a better life for your kids, and they need to provide a better life for the next generation, and so on and so on. So I'm right in line with you, man. I got 3 kids and I feel I have those exact same feelings. So how did you outside of that book get into real estate? I know in your bio you mentioned about a mentor. Who was that mentor? How did you get involved in it?
Yeah, well, I mean, even before getting that mentor, so I read the book and then I started Googling a bunch of questions. And one particular site kept popping up that was answering all those questions, which is Bigger Pockets, right? And so I started looking through that website, going onto the forums, and then I got plugged into the network. And in that, when you buy, certain products from them, they allow you into a mastermind. And it's within that small mastermind is when I really started to learn more about real estate because I was dealing with people actually doing it. And that sparked in me to go out into my own local community and go to meetups, meet other investors, grab coffee, whatever it is with them. But there came a point where all of that just wasn't really pushing me to that next step, taking action. And that's when I finally started working with a mentor who happened to be somebody I knew from many years ago. I just didn't realize he was investing in real estate.
So you got to a point where you were reading, you had all this free education, reading forums, books, blogs, Bigger Pockets, etc. But you hadn't taken action yet. You had all the information. You needed somebody to kind of kick you in the ass and say, okay, it's time to use this and take action. Here's how you do it. So who was this person, and what did they provide for you?
Yeah, his name is CJ, and he had the knowledge, he had the experience, he had the time, he was willing to work with me, right? And is when you look for a mentor, you want to make sure that they have what you want and they're promoting a skill, not so much a lifestyle. And that's exactly what he was doing. He was promoting how to do it. He wasn't saying like, hey, look at what I have. This is what you can have too, and so forth. It was more of, this is what I have. If you want it, I'll help you. Right. And that's what really attracted me to him too. All right. He wasn't trying to force it on me. It was more just, hey, here's my meetup. This is what we've been doing for the last couple of years. If, we've been in the same boat because I've known him from my W-2. So he kind of understood where I was coming from. And yeah, it was a really big help. That's what I needed. Because all that free information is great, but
was this a free mentorship or a paid mentorship?
This was a paid mentorship because this is something that he offered as, outside of exiting his job.
Okay.
So yeah, it was a paid mentorship.
And how long was the mentorship?
It was a year long.
A year-long mentorship. Okay. So from day one to the end of the year, how much action was taken? We're looking for some examples here. Yeah. Let's hear some examples because everyone talks about, I got a mentor and they helped me do this, this, and this. But like you said, this wasn't a mentor promoting a lifestyle and just giving you more information. It sounds like he was an action guy. So maybe give some examples of, what kind of mentor he was and how it helped you take action.
Yeah. Well, a lot of it was accountability, right? He was holding me accountable to the things that I was saying I was going to do or what I wanted to achieve. So I think for a lot of people, when they want to get started, I just want to get to one door, right? I want to get to one door in my first year and then we'll just take it from there. So that was my initial goal, doing one door. And when I started, I didn't have a lot of money. We just, we had a 1-year-old, so the expenses coming along with that and so forth. So that accountability of putting in the work. So analyzing deals, getting uncomfortable, talking to agents, talking to property managers, doing the research, the market research, and all that stuff you learn in the book, right? How to ask these certain questions, what to look for in a market. But I needed somebody to push me to be like, okay, did you do this? Did you do this? Did you do that? Right. And what I found too is it's just that consistency of analyzing and offering, because what I didn't realize as investors, you're putting out a bunch of offers, right? Because we need the numbers to make sense. And our offers aren't always what the sellers are looking for. which, will require us to do a bunch of offers. And I didn't know that before the mentorship, but being in that mentorship, yeah, it's just seeing the amount of work that goes into getting that one deal.
Right. Yeah. It's a lot of analyzing, underwriting, and then putting LOIs. And a lot of the times it's analyzing, underwriting, and it's a dead deal before you even make an offer. So there's a ton of time behind the scenes given before you even land that first deal. So talk about the one door. How quick were you able to capture that one door, and how has it worked out for you?
Okay. Yeah. So I would say from the start of working with my mentor, that first deal came about 2 or 3 months in, which I wasn't expecting. I kind of just was like, yeah, I got the whole year to do this thing. But it just, I was able to realize that I have the capability to achieve what I want to achieve, so long as I put in that work. So in that short amount of time, I don't know if you consider that short, but in that first 2-3 months, I was able to get that first deal. And so we focus in on the BRRRR method, the buy, rehab, rent, refinance, repeat. And that first deal, it wasn't a traditional BRRRR. It's something we like to call a hybrid BRRRR, which in that case had a tenant in place already. It was already performing, but we got it at a nice discount. So to this day, the tenant is still in there. She's been paying on time. And right now I'm just deferring the rehab until that tenant moves out, which she keeps that place pretty good. So fortunately, I may not have to do a whole bunch of rehab whenever she leaves, which I don't think she plans on leaving anytime soon either, because she's a student and so forth. But yeah, that first deal is working out pretty well, because at the refinance stage, we were able to pull everything out and then some. Yeah. So,
are you managing the property by yourself?
I'm using a property manager. So because I'm in Honolulu, I'm investing out in the Midwest.
Well, yeah, I didn't even ask you that. Where's this? I assumed it was in Honolulu, but maybe I guess I'm wrong. Where'd you buy the property?
Out in Kansas City.
Kansas City. Okay. How did you find the property? Let me ask you this. Why Kansas City? Was that your mentor's market? Was that something the market that you just researched and said, oh, Kansas City looks good? How'd you find Kansas City?
Yeah. So, Kansas City was already on that short list through my research.
Yep.
But my mentor, that's where he had his established team built already. So in order for me to work with him, he said, I got to go into Kansas City.
Yeah.
So I was like, yeah, sure. If you can help me out, no problem. But of course, he makes me do the research anyway to verify that it is a market I want to invest in. Yeah. But since it was already on that short list, yeah.
So I'm assuming are you still with that mentor, or has your contract expired with him?
It's expired, but we're good friends and we work together sort of.
Yeah.
I'm a part of his company now, helping other people invest out of state.
And is this strictly single family, or are you guys looking multifamily?
For what I do is single family. And then what some other guys in our group, they specialize either multifamily or commercial.
Okay. Yeah. And do you have more than the one door since your mentorship has began? Have you gotten other properties?
Yeah. In that mentorship, I was able to close on 4 doors, which was out of my mind. Right.
Yeah. All based in Kansas City?
All based in Kansas City. Yeah.
Okay. That's awesome. So obviously the mentor helped. And I guess a good point, and kind of dialing back a few minutes ago, like you said, he wasn't selling a lifestyle. He was selling action. And clearly you paid and got a return for your investment with him. You got 4 doors in your belt, you got a network, you're working with him now in Kansas City on other deals. And based off what I read in your bio, you have transitioned into mentoring people yourself. Is that correct?
Yeah, that's correct. Yeah.
Give us the rundown, man. Who are you mentoring? How's it work? What makes you different than all the other mentors out there, Brandon?
Yeah. Well, it's funny, right? Even a paid mentorship is something I never would have considered. Just having that, I guess, typical mentality. I already went to school. Why do I need to hire somebody else outside of an institution to teach me something? Right. But I guess just taking that step and realizing the value of having a mentor, I then sought out another coach, personal development coach, and then seeing the growth or value from that. And So with my W-2, I love my W-2. It's great. If I could do it forever, I would, but I can't. It's a very physical thing. But with coaching, I found I really love helping people. I really love seeing their eyes light up when I share some type of insight, or, they discover something about themselves. And I found that really, really fulfilling. And I wouldn't have known that if I hadn't worked with my mentor and a personal development coach. So just having done those things, that led me to wanting to help others as a coach and as a mentor. So I really went into that probably the ending of 2020, seeking extra training to be a personal development coach. And then with my mentor kind of showing me the ropes of how to mentor other people. So I've been doing that. I wouldn't say full time, but it does take up a lot of my time.
Yeah.
Since the beginning of this year.
How many people are you mentoring right now?
At the moment, about 5 people. But I'd say in total, this is personal development and mentoring. I've gone through maybe about 11 people. And
how do they find you? Like, I'm kind of curious on, there's a lot of people out there that probably have a ton of knowledge and would be willing to help people and probably get paid to help people. How do people find Brandon? Like, what's the avenue?
Yeah. Well, at first, you want to start off with your own network, kind of like raising private money. Start off with your friends and family. So that's how I started. I reached out to my network, let them know that, hey, I'm kind of transitioning over to this personal development coaching and real estate mentorship. All of you guys are always asking me, how do I get started? Here I am. If you want help, let's work together. Let's work something out.
Yeah.
So I would say that's what got the ball rolling. And then a little bit of social media, right? Posting on social media, people finding me that way. And then within my local community, me and my good buddy, we run a virtual real estate meetup. So through that, right?
Yeah.
Having that platform, people finding me that way too. And through my mentor's company, real estate company.
Oh, okay. Awesome.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm curious about the personal development side of mentorship, because we all hear about the mentors that teach you the business, the real estate, how to go get deals, raise money, close deals. Talk about the importance of the personal development side and kind of get maybe into the weeds of what that includes on the mentorship side, what you learned, what you're teaching other people, maybe just some tidbits for some people to take back and develop themselves personally, I guess is what it is, right?
Yeah, sure. So, Zig Ziglar says that your level of success will rarely exceed the level of your personal development. And when I read that in one of his books, really, I had zero personal development, right, when I got into real estate. And as I gone through that journey of the mentorship, I realized, real estate is only half of the journey, I guess. The other half is leveling up your mindset, being able to deal with different situations and not being defeated. So that's what kind of got me to level up my personal development. Within the mentorship, the big thing is taking ownership for your decisions, not blaming other people, not having that scarcity mindset, right? With real estate, it's not a small thing, right? You're dealing with a lot of money. You're dealing with different personalities. You're making decisions that can really change the trajectory of your financial future, either good or bad.
Correct.
And it's just taking responsibility, right, for your decisions. So if you analyze a deal and on paper it looks great, you submit an offer, it gets accepted, and then you get into it and you realize when you start verifying your numbers, your ARV is, or after repair value is 50 grand off. Whose fault is that, right? Like, you take the time to analyze the deal and you go into it with the amount of information you have. I don't want to, what I tell people is, not to be so hard on yourself if your numbers are wrong, because you're going based off of the information you have prior to locking it up.
Correct.
Right. When you're in that inspection period, that's when you can verify your numbers. That's why it's an inspection period. You're doing your due diligence, and that's the time for you to triple check your numbers. not to blame somebody else that, oh, this guy gave me the wrong number, or my mentor told me to do this or that. It's like, no, I mean, I told you to verify the numbers, because at the end of the day, it's your name on that dotted line, right? You're committing to that contract. You're signing to that loan or whatever it is, right? It's nobody else. So you have to take ownership of that decision. So that ownership is like a big one in mentorship, and something I had to realize for myself too. My success or my failures is nobody else's fault except mine.
Yeah, and that's across the board in life, right? Not just in real estate and business. It's the transfer of blame mindset. Is you're always people that I guess I call them. There's a difference between winners and losers. Losers transfer the blame. Winners hold themselves accountable. It's their decision, and if it's wrong, it's their fault. The people out there with the scarcity mindset they transfer the blame. It's never their fault. It's somebody else's fault. So on the personal development, did it include, any mental, physical training? I'm trying to get deep into the weeds of like, what are some of the exercises that you do for personal development on the mentorship side, like something that you learned or that you're teaching?
Yeah. So with personal development, when I dive more deeper into the personal development, I work on their levels of clarity, energy, focus, kind of all of those things. And like, for example, let's take clarity, for example, right? People, if they're unsure of who they are as a person or what they want to achieve, a simple example I like to share with them is to leverage technology. So, for example, almost everybody has a cell phone, right? And with the cell phone, you can set alarms in there, and you can even name those alarms. And this is what I personally do too, to remind myself who I need to be or who my best self is. And in that exercise, I tell them to take a moment to close your eyes and think of 3 words that represent your best self, whether that's I'm courageous, I'm persistent, I'm determined, I'm confident, whatever that is, right? Come up with 3 words. And then I have them to program those 3 words as an alarm to go off in their phone every 3 hours. And the funny thing is too, because this happens to me, is I know that my alarm is going to go off 9, 12, 3, 6 o'clock every day. But as I go throughout the day, I forget that it's going to go off. So when that phone goes off, I automatically am reminded to look at my phone and see those words that I chose when I was in that right state of mind. Like, hey, I need to be more confident right now, or I need to be more loving right now, or I need to be more courageous right now. And using that as a tool to trigger my mind to help me get into where I need to be. That's one thing that helps people with clarity and understanding who they are, or reminding them who they are and who they need to be.
I love that, man. That's awesome. That's what I'm looking for, right? That's what our listeners are looking for is, there's a lot of hype out there about personal development and mental strength and training and getting the mindset right. But I'm looking for ideas, and that's a great idea. Set the alarms 3 or 4 times a day. It pops up. It says, hey man, remember, courageous, intelligent, confident, whatever it is, whatever your words are. Right. And you could be in the middle of the day and just forget that thing's going to go off, and it clicks, and maybe you're having a good day or a bad day. It's just that subtle reminder of, hey, remember who you're trying to be or who you are. What else you got?
And not only who you need to be, but you can even ask yourself, what made you successful? What brought me to this point of success? Yeah. And it's reflecting on that, identifying 3 words or phrases that helped you become successful, and then programming that into your phone. Yeah. So that, oh yeah, that's right. I did step out, I did get uncomfortable. I was bold, or whatever it is. Right. Yeah. So yeah.
What else you got, man? What other, give me another tidbit or for our listeners, not me, I'm being selfish for our listeners here.
Okay. Yeah.
You talked about the clarity and setting the alarms. What's another piece of the mentorship program you have on personal development, and what's a good tool that people can take home?
So, a simple one is time blocking. right? You may have heard of that before. A lot of people don't realize just how much time they have to spend towards working on their goals. I know when I talk to people that want to get into real estate and I tell them about the mentorship and I tell them that it is going to take some time, especially in the beginning, because you got a lot of things to learn and so forth. They say, oh, I don't have time. I got to do this. I got to do that. And for the guys that do decide to commit to mentorship, when they do the time blocking exercise, they realize, wow, I was spending 2 hours watching Netflix, or I was spending, half an hour doing this or that. Right. And they're just mind blown to realize that they really do have time that they're just spending on social media or some other type of activity that they could not be working on.
So time blocking, I mean, it sounds so simple, right? You just block time for certain things in the day. Are you analyzing how your day goes and then going, okay, now I need to time block from 7 to 9, I'm going to work on real estate. From 9 to 11, I'm going to work on my W-2. From 11 to 1, I'm going to go to the gym. And is that pretty much time blocking?
Yeah. So what I do is every morning I have a journal and I'll time block every half an hour of my day from 6 a.m. to 10 p.m. And I do that in the beginning of the day because it helps to kind of get my mind right for the day, and the house is quiet. The kids aren't awake. I can think, and it helps me to be intentional for the rest of the day, right? Because being intentional, I think a lot of people forget to be that too. They just go throughout the day, whatever comes, go with the flow type of a thing. Yeah. And that's okay. I guess I lived like that. I wake up, get ready and do my own thing. But what I'm finding is I feel way more fulfilled when I'm living intentionally. We don't know what's going to happen tomorrow. Tomorrow's not promised. So when you live intentionally, you just feel more fulfilled. And I feel like I'm spending my time wisely doing it that way too.
You're time blocking every 30 minutes. So every 30 minutes, you're writing down 30 minutes real estate, and then you're moving on to something else for the next 30 minutes or well, give us an example. If it's going to take an hour, if it'll take an hour, then I'll time block. I'll just block off that both of those slots for something. Right. Yeah. Okay. Because I started off with bigger chunks of time, but I found myself getting distracted within those blocks. So it's easy to get distracted. For you. For sure, it's easy to get distracted. I mean, the phone's always beside you. You can time block what you want, but someone's going to call you, text you. You just got to be committed to staying on that subject for that amount of time. Right. All right. Let's transition back to some real estate stuff. What do you got on the go today? What's the next step on the real estate side, Brandon? Well, I'm under contract at the moment for another single family home. So, doing the due diligence with that, getting my inspections done, my bids in, checking my numbers. So currently that's what's going on. And in the near future, I'm looking into getting into some smaller multifamilies, duplex, triplex, fourplexes. And if the opportunity arises, getting into maybe a smaller commercial deal, or smaller, larger multifamily, like a 6 to 8 unit, 12 unit. So let me ask you this. Why single family right now and not multifamily? I mean, at the moment, that's what I know. And I feel that's what I'm pretty good at and I'm confident at. But I know that pushing myself to get into that multifamily space is uncomfortable. Yet for me, uncomfortableness leads to growth. So if I'm getting too comfortable in single family, which I'm starting to feel, I know I got to get to the next level. So for me, that would be that multifamily or commercial. Yeah. Inside your team, does anyone do multifamily or strictly single family? Yeah, they do a little bit of multifamily, and my mentor, he's already into commercial. So they've got a couple commercial stuff already. Yeah. Yeah. Awesome. So with you being a mentor now, are you still seeking out other mentors and coaches for yourself? Yeah. Mm-hmm. In fact, I just started working with another one 2 weeks ago. I started working with another coach 2 weeks ago to help with my mindset. I want to continuously grow. I don't want to stop learning and growing. So that's why I started working with another coach. Yeah. All right. Well, a question that I have, and maybe the listeners are going to ask the same question, and you may not have to give an exact number, but what's a mentorship cost? Like everyone's telling me to go get a mentor, or it has to be a paid mentorship. And I sit there and look at my bank account. I'm trying to get into real estate. Maybe I have 5-10 grand in the account. And I go, well, I need to keep this for real estate. And someone's telling me, well, hey man, you better go get a paid mentor. And I'm sitting there going, well, where does my money go? And how much is a mentorship, Brandon?
Yeah, that's a great question. And, when people do ask me that, in that, they're still trying to feel it out and we haven't really sat down to really talk what's involved in their mentorship. I like to ask them back, well, how much would a mentorship be to you? Right? Because no matter the cost, some people will still not see the value in mentorship. They're still going to look at the cost portion or the number as opposed to the value that they're going to get out of it.
Yeah.
Because even with a free, if somebody were to teach me something for free, that's still valuable because I'm seeing it as value. As opposed to paying for something, paying thousands of dollars for something. If I don't see the value in that, I'm still not going to get anything out of it.
Right.
Even if I paid thousands of dollars for it. Right. So I like to just ask them, well, what's the value? What's the value of mentorship to you? And kind of go from there. But I would say it sometimes it's not cheap, right?
Yeah.
That can be objective too, though.
Well, yeah, it depends on your lifestyle and everything. I'm just curious for listeners, are we looking at, is it a monthly fee of $2,000 a month? Is it how often are meetings? I think there's a lot of people out there that want a mentor, but are really cautious of the cost of mentorship. And obviously, yeah, they're extremely valuable. And once you do it, we had a mentor on our team for 6 months, and it was unbelievable. It got us kickstarted in the right direction. It was accountability, it was everything, but we were very cautious going in because it's like, well, am I going to put this money here or can I just go buy a deal? Mm-hmm. So it's just, I think some people out there would love mentorship, but are really afraid of the cost.
Yeah. Yeah. And when I think back to before I started with the mentorship, that was a concern for me too. I had no idea what to expect, really.
Right.
But going back to, is it weekly? What does it look like? And I think it depends on the program, because I've been part of programs where it was weekly. I've been a part of programs where I have an X amount of time for that month. So I think it depends on that certain program, however they structure it. But again, it's just going back to seeing what value do you see? If you might already be high level, or if you have a certain type of mindset, having 60 minutes per month, you see a total ton of value in that already. If you're super brand new, don't know where to start, having something weekly might be better for you. And both of those, and the two different things are going to require a different pricing, I guess.
Right. Yeah, of course. Price based off of time.
Yeah.
Give some advice to someone looking for a mentor. What should they be cautious of? What are some red flags out there? Because I think we all know that there's some mentors out there that are basically just trying to make a quick buck.
Yeah. So again, the big thing I think is them promoting a skill, not a lifestyle. Check their social media. Not everybody's active on social media, but it's out there. So use it, see what they're posting about, see what's important to them. See what accomplishments have they done, and are those things what you're trying to achieve? Yeah, because I see a lot of stuff online too, right? Hey, I'll teach you to do X, Y, and Z. Come join my program. And this is how much it costs. But really, all they're doing is just taking information and passing it along. They haven't actually done the actual thing that they're trying to teach you. So it's making sure that mentor is actively doing or has done what you're trying to achieve. That would be the big thing.
Okay. Yeah. And dial it back 15 years, what advice would you give yourself 15 years ago, working the W-2 with no kids? Now knowing what you know now.
Oh, man. Seeking a mentor, of course, would be one thing, but I think really pursuing knowledge, pursuing people that are doing what I want to achieve. Yeah. Oftentimes I say, I tell my wife, if we only had started at this time, where would we be right now?
Yeah.
But I believe things happen for a reason, things happen for us, not to us. So there's a reason why we didn't start back then,
Yeah.
now we're starting now in this pandemic and with
that's just the point, right? Like that's what I think about dialing back. Like start now. Like if you are interested in real estate or anything else, whatever it may be, and you're passionate about it and you feel that this is the right path for you and your family financially, start right now. Don't wait till 2022 when maybe the market slows down. You can't predict that. Start now, start reading the books, start searching out mentors, start networking with people inside of that lifestyle you're trying to achieve or that business you're trying to get into. Like you said, in real estate 15 years ago, same with me. I wish I would have networked with more people that are doing what I'm trying to do right now.
Yeah.
Now that's what we've been doing for the last year and a half. And it's paid off dividends because now we have this network built of real estate professionals and investors. And then we're continuing to grow that network, but I'm not trying to take the words out of your mouth, but basically start now. Right.
Yeah, no. And that's what I always tell people too. Just take action.
Yeah.
Start now, cause that's what I wish I did.
Yeah, absolutely.
Started.
All right, man. Well, where can people find you, Brandon? What's the best way for them to get a hold of you if they have questions or interested in your program or just want to connect?
Yeah. So I'm on Instagram at Breaking Rhythm. That is my personal development coaching business. I'm also on Facebook at Brandon Rabe, and my website is breakingrhythm.com. So you can connect with me there as well.
Awesome, Brandon. Well, I appreciate you being on. And here he is, guys. He gave you all the information to go find him, go look him up, connect with him. I'm sure he seems like a very open guy to connect with you and share some valuable information that's been passed on to him. I appreciate you being on, Brandon.
Thank you for having me, Brandon.
Thanks for listening to the Gorilla State Investing Podcast, where we give you the ground-pounding truth about what it takes to be successful in real estate. Learn more at realfocus.org/Gorilla State Pod.